June 4, 1942. The azure waters of the Pacific stretch endlessly beneath a formation of seemingly obsolete American aircraft. Their fixed landing gear and fabric-covered control surfaces make them appear antiquated compared to the sleek Japanese Zeros patrolling above. But appearances, as the Imperial Japanese Navy was about to discover, can be devastatingly deceptive. These were Douglas SBD Dauntless dive bombers, aircraft that Japanese intelligence had dismissed as flying coffins and sitting ducks. Yet within hours, these supposedly inferior machines would accomplish what no other weapon system had achieved: the complete annihilation of Japan's premier aircraft carrier strike force at the Battle of Midway. But here's the classified truth that emerged from captured Japanese documents years later. The Dauntless wasn't just feared by Japanese forces. It was grudgingly respected, obsessively studied, and ultimately recognized as one of the most devastating precision weapons ever deployed in naval warfare. Secret intelligence reports reveal that Japanese commanders developed an almost superstitious dread of these dive bombers, referring to them in coded communications as the Falling Devils. What transformed a supposedly outdated aircraft into Japan's most dreaded opponent? How did Japanese tactical doctrine evolve specifically to counter the Dauntless threat? And why did veteran Japanese pilots describe encounters with these bombers as psychological torture rather than mere aerial combat? Tonight, we uncover the shocking classified assessments, desperate tactical innovations, and psychological warfare that surrounded one of World War II's most underestimated aircraft. When Douglas SBD Dauntless bombers first appeared over Japanese positions in early 1942, enemy intelligence officers initially dismissed them as evolutionary dead ends, relics of 1930s aviation design that posed minimal threat to modern Japanese forces. This catastrophic misunderstanding would cost the Imperial Navy dearly throughout the Pacific Campaign. Japanese technical analysts, accustomed to their own emphasis on speed and maneuverability, viewed the Dauntless's fixed landing gear and robust construction as primitive design elements. Intelligence bulletins described these aircraft as slow, obsolete bombers suitable only for training purposes, an assessment that would prove tragically inaccurate within months. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to uncover more shocking We-Too secrets that changed everything. The aircraft's unassuming appearance masked revolutionary innovations that Japanese designers had overlooked entirely. Unlike their own dive bombers, which required precise pilot technique and perfect conditions, the Dauntless incorporated automatic dive brakes, rugged construction, and foolproof bombing systems that made precision attacks achievable even by relatively inexperienced aircrew. Early combat reports from Japanese ground forces began revealing disturbing patterns. These obsolete bombers consistently achieved direct hits against pinpoint targets with accuracy rates exceeding 80% performance levels that Japanese dive bomber pilots could only achieve under ideal conditions. Intelligence officers struggled to reconcile their technical assessments with mounting battlefield evidence. Most significantly, Japanese naval commanders began noticing operational patterns that defied their understanding of American tactical doctrine. Rather than employing mass formations like traditional bombers, Dauntless squadrons operated with surgical precision, selecting high-value targets and destroying them with minimal aircraft committed. This tactical efficiency suggested capabilities far beyond what Japanese intelligence had predicted. The psychological seeds of respect and fear were already being planted among Japanese forces who witnessed these early Dauntless operations, though official assessments continued dismissing the aircraft as technologically inferior. As Japanese technical intelligence teams examined recovered Dauntless wreckage throughout 1942, they discovered engineering solutions that challenged fundamental assumptions about dive bomber design and revealed American innovations they'd severely underestimated. The aircraft's structural integrity particularly amazed Japanese analysts accustomed to lightweight construction principles. The Dauntless could withstand diving stresses exceeding 9G forces while maintaining precise control. capabilities that Japanese dive bombers could not match without structural failure. This robust design enabled attack profiles previously considered impossible. Japanese engineers marveled at the sophisticated dive brake system that automatically controlled descent rates and prevented dangerous speed buildup during steep attacks. Unlike manual systems requiring constant pilot attention, the Dauntless allowed aircrew to concentrate entirely on target acquisition and bomb release timing, dramatically improving accuracy under combat conditions. The aircraft's armament configuration impressed enemy technical teams studying captured examples. Twin forward-firing, 50-caliber machine guns provided effective self-defense capability, while twin rear-facing, 30-caliber guns operated by radio gunners created overlapping defensive fire zones. This armament arrangement enabled Dauntless crews to engage enemy fighters while maintaining bombing mission profiles. Most revolutionary was the aircraft's integrated bombing system, combining telescopic bomb sights, automatic release mechanisms, and precision-engineered bomb racks. Japanese technical reports noted that this system eliminated human error factors that plagued their own dive bombing operations, achieving consistent accuracy regardless of pilot experience levels. The power plant particularly intrigued Japanese analysts. The Wright R-1820 Cyclone engine provided exceptional reliability and power output while maintaining fuel efficiency during extended missions. Unlike Japanese engines optimized for short-range operations, the Cyclone enabled strategic missions deep into enemy territory with sufficient reserves for combat maneuvering. Secret Japanese assessments concluded that the Dauntless represented a completely different design philosophy, prioritizing operational effectiveness and crew survivability over theoretical performance specifications. This realization fundamentally altered Japanese perceptions of American aviation capabilities. By late 1942, Japanese combat reports documented the Dauntless's devastating effectiveness across every major Pacific engagement, revealing tactical capabilities that exceeded even optimistic American projections, while systematically destroying Japanese naval supremacy through precision strikes against high-value targets. The Battle of Midway became the ultimate demonstration of Dauntless lethality. Japanese after-action reports describe aircraft carriers, previously considered virtually unsinkable fortresses, reduced to burning hulks within minutes by small formations of American dive bombers, achieving unprecedented accuracy rates against moving targets defended by concentrated anti-aircraft fire. Anti-shipping operations showcased the aircraft's most terrifying capabilities. Japanese convoy commanders reported systematic destruction of individual vessels, selected with surgical precision from heavily defended formations. Unlike area bombing attacks that Japanese forces could counter through dispersion, Dauntless strikes eliminated specific targets while leaving escorts undamaged but demoralized. Japanese fighter pilots discovered that intercepting Dauntless formations presented unique tactical challenges. The bomber's defensive armament and formation flying techniques created overlapping fire zones that destroyed attacking fighters before they could achieve effective firing positions. Traditional Japanese interception tactics proved completely ineffective against these defensive innovations. Ground attack missions revealed another dimension of Dauntless precision. Japanese airfield commanders documented individual aircraft shelters, fuel dumps, and command bunkers destroyed by single bombs, while adjacent structures remained untouched. This surgical accuracy created operational paralysis far exceeding the physical damage inflicted. Most disturbing to Japanese planners was the aircraft's consistent performance across diverse operational environments. Whether operating from aircraft carriers, advanced airfields, or improvised landing strips, Dauntless squadrons maintained identical effectiveness levels, indicating systematic training and standardized procedures that Japanese forces couldn't match. Intelligence analysis revealed that individual Dauntless squadrons achieved target destruction rates requiring entire Japanese bomber wings to accomplish, force multiplication effects that fundamentally altered Pacific theater strategic calculations and rendered traditional Japanese defensive planning obsolete. The psychological impact of Douglas SBD Dauntless operations on Japanese forces transcended mere tactical considerations, creating what military psychiatrists later identified as systematic demoralization that affected entire units long before actual combat encounters occurred. Japanese ground forces developed what medical officers termed dive bomber neurosis after experiencing dauntless attacks. The aircraft's distinctive diving sound, created by wind passing through dive breaks, became psychologically associated with imminent precision destruction. Troops reported hearing these sounds during quiet periods when no aircraft were present, indicating profound psychological trauma. Naval personnel exhibited similar psychological deterioration after witnessing dauntless attacks against their vessels. Japanese destroyer crews described feeling helpless against bombers that could select individual ships from formations and destroy them with single hits, while remaining virtually immune to defensive fire due to steep diving angles and high approach speeds. The phenomenon Japanese commanders called precision paralysis appeared throughout Pacific garrisons by 1943. Units that had survived dauntless attacks often refused to occupy structures or positions that might attract dive bomber attention, effectively abandoning defensive preparations rather than risk becoming precision targets. Japanese pilot training programs incorporated specific psychological preparation for encountering dauntless formations. Instructors noted that veteran pilots returning from Pacific assignments consistently warned trainees about the diving devils that attacked with supernatural accuracy and seemed immune to conventional fighter interception techniques. Intelligence reports document Japanese attempts to counter dauntless psychological effects through propaganda emphasizing successful defensive actions. These efforts failed because frontline personnel possessed direct experience contradicting official narratives about American bomber vulnerabilities and Japanese defensive capabilities. Most significantly, captured communications revealed that Japanese operational planning began incorporating dauntless factors. Statistical projections of likely losses whenever these bombers might operate in specific areas. This psychological accommodation effectively granted the aircraft strategic influence extending far beyond actual deployment zones. The Dauntless had become more than a weapon system. It represented American technological superiority and tactical innovation that Japanese forces found impossible to counter effectively. The Douglas SBD Dauntless's influence on Japanese military thinking created permanent changes in how an entire generation of naval commanders approached carrier operations, defensive planning, and aircraft design philosophy that extended decades beyond World War II's conclusion. Post-war interviews with surviving Japanese naval officers reveal consistent themes. The Dauntless represented a technological and tactical revolution that fundamentally altered their understanding of precision bombing capabilities and defensive requirements. Many commanders described the aircraft as the weapon system that convinced them American victory was inevitable. Classified Japanese technical studies, declassified in the 1970s, document systematic analysis of Dauntless design principles and operational techniques. These reports influenced post-war Japanese aviation development, emphasizing precision strike capabilities and defensive systems specifically designed to counter dive bombing attacks. The psychological legacy proved equally profound. Former Japanese naval personnel consistently ranked dauntless encounters among their most traumatic combat experiences, describing attacks that seemed to defy natural laws through their precision and effectiveness. This reputation influenced Japan's post-war naval doctrine, prioritizing anti-air defenses against precision bombing threats. Japanese military historians later recognized that the Dauntless represented a paradigm shift in naval aviation, the moment when precision replaced mass as the determining factor in aerial warfare effectiveness. This realization influenced Japan's maritime self-defense force development, incorporating lessons learned from facing the world's most effective dive bomber. Perhaps most remarkably, secret Japanese strategic assessments concluded that the Dauntless achieved strategic objectives through tactical precision rather than numerical superiority, a concept that revolutionized their understanding of force multiplication and operational effectiveness in modern warfare. Today, the Douglas SBD Dauntless remains synonymous with the moment Japanese naval supremacy ended, not through overwhelming force, but through precision, innovation, and psychological warfare that proved more devastating than any conventional bombing campaign ever conceived.